Hello there. Yes, I'm making this and I'm being a bit of a jerk while I'm making this. But November 18th of this year, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet releases, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and I would like to see you all there. That's right, November 18th. That's a Friday, 24-hour stream. I will be doing it, and I will be having fun. So come on by, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do all that stuff, and yeah, we'll have fun. So this is an interesting one, considering Elon Musk is still all around in the news and Twitter is still such a big topic. I haven't touched on it a whole lot. I've touched on some big moments here or there. Kathy Griffin getting banned, Ethan Klein getting banned. I've talked about how people really just dislike him and how it doesn't make any sense. On my Zuckerberg video, I talked about how you're getting reports of a million plus of users on Twitter as of Elon's takeover. There's things going on. Twitter Blue's finally rolling out. There's tons of things going on. That being said, economic picture ahead is dire. Elon Musk tells Twitter employees. In his first communication with Twitter's staff, the company's new owner painted a bleak picture as more executives resigned. Yeah. And I read through this entire New York Times article, and they make mention of an email that I have not been able to find. They said it was reported by Bloomberg. I clicked on the link to Bloomberg. Bloomberg didn't have the full-on email. They were just citing the email. Nobody's talked about the email as far as I can see. That being said, there's some interesting points to be made if what is being said is accurate. Granted, Elon Musk, this is still just 2 weeks. I think we're on 2 weeks, maybe going on 3 weeks since Elon's purchased Twitter. Twitter Blue is just starting to roll out. It's only for iOS devices as it stands. Give me that check mark, Elon. And things are potentially going to change. Don't know how soon, don't know when, but we'll get into it later on in the video. But it's digital economics. It's a trick that a lot of these platforms use. 2 weeks after buying Twitter, Elon Musk painted an increasingly bleak financial picture for the company and outlined changes in a meeting with staff on Thursday and in his first company-wide emails amid an exodus of executives, including the officials who oversaw content moderation and security. Wow. Yeah, maybe your content moderators should have been left, and don't know what all these security people did. At the meeting on Thursday, Mr. Musk warned employees that Twitter did not have the necessary cash to survive. Said 7 people familiar to the meeting who spoke on the conditions of anonymity. This is where I'm getting my problem. And that I do not mind the fact that you have anonymous sources. You need to protect your sources. You have 7 sources saying this. But there's a lot of people out right now who want to see Elon fail, want to see Twitter be returned, and are still mad that Elon purchased Twitter. So I have a hard time with this story, and I'm taking it with a grain of salt. Obviously, all of this could be real. We'll just have to see, but something's just not passing my sniff test. Granted, the ideas that are pitched throughout all this, I can very much see being accurate as well. The social media company was running a negative cash flow of several $1 billion, Mr. Musk added, without specifically specifying if that was an annual figure. He mentioned bankruptcy. So this is just what the 7 people said, and you don't know where they're getting all this from. You have mentions of bankruptcy. I can understand you guys having no money because throughout this article, you end up dropping a bit of detail that might have been needed up ahead, but that's how they do these things. Mr. Musk added that he had recently sold Tesla stock to save Twitter. He has sold nearly $4 billion in Tesla shares recently, according to regulatory filings this week. Even so, Mr. Musk said Twitter remained overstaffed after mass layoffs and half of the company's 7,500 employees last week. Why I can't speak today, I don't know. I can't speak most days, let's be fair. Remaining workers needed to be more hardcore, Mr. Musk said. His statements echoed messages he shared in 2 emails sent to workers late on Wednesday. In those notes, Mr. Musk said the economic picture ahead is dire. And it really is. Twitter still has a lot of money to get up because there's a bunch. They were always working at a deficit. I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit, but in this article they mentioned they haven't been profitable for the 8 of the past 10 years. They have not made it. They've been hemorrhaging money. So you have that yeah, your economic picture is dire. You need to have new sources of revenue. He added that he planned to end Twitter's remote work policy and wanted employees to renew their focus on generating revenue and fighting spam. Yeah, that should be one of your biggest points is generate revenue, fight the spam, get rid of the bots. That's what we want. And also take care of the people that are actively violating the law and things of that nature. Because let's not forget, Twitter is one of the biggest suppliers of, let's use the term CP. And it's disgusting. So you need to have people fighting all that and actively getting those taken down and getting people reported to the proper authorities. Twitter was too heavily dependent on advertising and vulnerable to pullbacks in brand spending, he added. Yeah, that was your whole entire thing. That's why Twitter was such a cesspool for so long, was they were dependent on advertisers. That at least that was their excuse until we found out that the government had some things to do, and will need to bolster the revenue it gets from subscriptions. And another note to employees, he wrote that the absolute top priority is finding and suspending any verified bots, trolls, /spam. Verified bots, trolls, spam. What does he mean by verified trolls? Because I like to do a bit of trolling on Twitter here and there. If you haven't checked out that, I'll do things of all sorts of nature. So I don't know if suspending trolls is the best mark, but bots and spam you seriously need to get rid of. That is a serious issue, and it's a reason it's having an effect on people to a disturbing degree. Mr. Musk has roiled Twitter since taking... Roiled? Is that even a word? Twitter since taking over the company in the technology industry, largest ever leveraged buyout last month. The billionaire, who also runs the electric car maker Tesla and the rocket company SpaceX, is under pressure to make the deal work, having paid $44 billion for Twitter. That wasn't worth that much. Let's be real. But Twitter had lost money for 8 of the past 10 years, and its revenue growth has been as robust as competitors. It hasn't been making money for 8 of the past 10 years. For 8 of the past 10 years, Twitter was losing money. They ended up seeing an uptick in growth during 2016 because a certain orange man was elected president and everybody was there, and Twitter became this hotbed of people being there because everybody wanted to see what he was tweeting. And then you banned him, and that's when everything started going from getting a little bit better to downright worse. People started exiting constantly. Alt tech started rising. Twitter began getting competition. I love competition because it makes other platforms have to be better. That being said, Twitter wasn't getting better and actively worked alongside other platforms to break antitrust laws, potentially, and get rid of Parler, one of its biggest competitors. Mr. Musk also loaded the company with $13 billion in debt for the buyout and is now on the hook to pay $1 billion in interest payments annually. Mr. Musk has previously said the company is losing $4 million a day. God, all the billions and millions, money I'll never see in my life. Twitter, whose communication department has been laid off, did not respond to requests for comment. Bloomberg earlier reported Mr. Musk's emails, and I clicked that article. I tried to find the email. I could not find that email. On Thursday, more Twitter executives resigned. They included Kathleen Pacini, a human resource leader. I'll get rid of them. Yoel Roth, the head of trust and safety. Obviously, you were failing in your trust and safety department when I mentioned the CP. Robin Wheeler, an advertising executive. That actually might have been a bad thing. But, I mean, if he's resigning, probably a good thing. According to 4 people familiar with the matters, there was confusion about some executives, including Miss Wheeler. Miss Wheeler wrote in an internal company message on Thursday afternoon, which was viewed by the Times. I'm still here. This is really hard right now. What does that even mean? So you're telling me that nobody understood if Wheeler was resigning or not because she made this thing, but then what does this even mean? Because it's all out of context. I don't get it. That followed the resignation of 3 top Twitter executives responsible for security, privacy, and compliance on Wednesday. Oh, for Twitter, people forcing compliance? Oh, that actually sounds pretty good because, again, rampant CP, bot issues, spam, all that stuff is still a massive issue on Twitter. Security, privacy, and complacent boards? Yeah, get rid of them. You guys weren't succeeding in your departments. For so long, you guys weren't succeeding. Resign. Get out of here. Bye. So long. Farewell. Avita saying goodbye. According to 2 people familiar with the matters and internal documents seen by New York Times. I want to see these internal documents so badly. I want to know how you're reporting on all this, because there's a lot of things in here that we just have to take their word for it as of right now. Oh, where was it? Right here. The departing security executives were Lee Keisner, the chief information security officer. Yeah, get out of here. Damon Kieran, the chief privacy officer. Okay, bye. Maureen Fogarty. Sounds like a fart. The chief compliance officer. They resigned a day before a deadline for Twitter's to submit compliance reports to Federal Trade Commission, which is overseeing privacy practices at the company as part of a 2011 settlement. Huh. What happened in 2011? I actually don't know. I should probably look that up because that sounds interesting. Why is the FTC having to get all these compliance forms? Huh. Twitter has typically reviewed its products for privacy problems before rolling them out to users to avoid additional fines from the FTC and remain in compliance with the settlement. But because of a rapid pace of production development under Mr. Musk's engineers could be forced to self-certify so that their projects meet privacy requirements, one employee wrote an internal message seen by the Times. What they're basically saying, and what I'm getting from all this is to make sure that data leaks don't happen. But we get data leaks all the time, so you were failing already, and obviously the government wasn't stopping it. Obviously the government was assisting again in deplatforming people. We had that story a couple weeks ago. I didn't do a video on it because I thought it was too political, but you had the government fully involved in this, and they're still fully involved. Well, to what degree, I don't know. Elon has shown that he cares only about recouping the losses he's incurring as a result of failing to get out of his binding obligation to buy Twitter, the employee wrote. Doubtful. Considering the fact that he's trying to make the platform more profitable and actually usable and less insane. In fact, I'm having fun getting on Twitter now and actually trolling people. The changes to Twitter's FTC reviews could result in heavy fines and put people working for the company at risk, the person warned. Okay, yeah. Figure it out. You guys got to figure it out. This will put huge amounts of personal, professional, and legal risks onto engineers. I anticipate that all of you will be pressured by management into pushing out changes that will likely lead to major incidents, the employee wrote. That personal, professional, and legal risks onto engineers. Make sure you're doing a good job. This is going to be a part of the thing. If you're not doing a good job, you're going to get fired, and you might get held legally responsible. That's how this stuff works. Granted, this is a corporation, so the corporation will have some civil responsibilities, probably some federal responsibilities as well there, just because of how much information there is, data leaks, and things that go into more other areas of avenue that I don't really believe people need all that much control on. Elon's sitting on a massive wealth of information. That being said, you got to make sure you're doing your job good then. That's basically what it boils down to for all this. We're tracking recent developments at Twitter with deep concern, Douglas Farr, a spokesman for the FTC, said in a statement. No CEO or company is above the law. I can think of a few that were above the law by your guys' standards. And companies must follow our consent decrees. Does Microsoft and all them? Our revised consent order gives us new tools to ensure compliance, and we are prepared to use them. See, again, these people are still extremely mad that Elon purchased Twitter. And a lot of this article mainly feels like a bunch of threats being levied at Elon if he doesn't comply. You could face legal charges. You could face financial charges. You could face all this and that. When the more interesting story boils down to the financial end of all this. So when you bolster this whole article with all these threats from the FTC, talks from employees about how everything's just being mismanaged according to them, something just starts feeling more like this article's talking a lot more as a threat to Twitter and to Elon versus an actual informative article. And I'm curious where it's all going. In an email to employees on Thursday afternoon, Mr. Musk wrote, "I can't emphasize enough that Twitter will do whatever it takes to adhere to both the letter and spirit of the FTC's consent decree." Yeah, I mean, Elon will. A lot of Elon's companies are already government subsidized. Twitter's probably still going to be government subsidized. That's why it lasted so long. But I can see Elon, and excuse me, I can see Elon 100% following all the rules and regulations. I do not see him breaking them, and I see him doing everything he can. Now, one of the things I also see Elon doing to try to escape some of the more statewide regulations, because again, Twitter's in both New York and California, moving it from San Francisco and New York to Texas. I literally can see him doing that. Having Tesla, Twitter, all based out of Texas, smartest idea he can do right now. Save him a lot of money. Sorry, I tried to figure out where I was. Twitter earns about 90% of its revenue from advertisers, some of whom have shied away from the platform in recent days because of uncertainties over Mr. Musk's commitment to removing toxic content from Twitter. Yeah, a lot of that, they shied away, but they're coming right back. They're not gonna stay long forever. Again, if that $1 million usage up is true, yeah, advertisers are gonna be wanting to be on there. They want to see they're gonna want to be there. More people are active on there. They're going to want to be there, and they're going to want to spend money there. It's inevitable. So I don't see that being a huge issue for him for too long. They're going to end up coming there, and he's going to recoup money somehow, some way. He has responded by threatening a thermonuclear name and shame of advertisers who choose to halt their spending. Ooh, do it. Do it, Elon. Do it. Let's name and shame. It'll be funny. Mr. Musk has also raced to find new subscription revenue. One of his first projects was to revamp a subscription service, Twitter Blue. He raised the price to $8 a month and said subscribers would receive a verification checkmark, which Twitter has typically given to promote users like celebrities and politicians. Yes, and that already released. And Jeremy from The Quartering, don't hate the dude, don't like the dude, he does good work. He did an interesting video. I think it was yesterday or today, early today, maybe late yesterday, on Twitter Blue being rolled out. And this whole argument that we won't know who's who, we won't be able to figure out who are the verified people and who are not, and who is spam and this. And he went through Twitter and started clicking on people with a check mark, and it tells you, hey, this person has Twitter Blue, this person is certified. This person has Twitter Blue, this person is certified. Done. You don't have to worry about all that. So you don't have to worry about the rampant spread of misinformation. In one of his emails to staff on Wednesday, Mr. Musk said subscriptions should eventually account for about half the company's revenue. Without significant subscription revenue, there is a good chance Twitter will not survive the upcoming economic downturn, which is true because he's not just talking about Twitter's economic situation. He's talking about the full-on global economic situation that I hit on yesterday a lot. You know, with Disney's earnings call coming in low, with Meta having to lay off a bunch of people. They're criticizing Elon Musk for having to lay off a bunch of people. Meta had to lay off a bunch of people. The tech bubble is bursting. Companies are suffering. Elon's trying to he bought a massive company in the middle of all this, and he's trying to make it as profitable as possible in the meantime. That's how this stuff works. Mr. Musk also told employees that they must return to the office on Thursday and work from home for a minimum of 40 hours a week. Do actual work at work? Twitter's workforce had been remote since early in the pandemic, and in recent years, its employees have been allowed to choose where they want to live rather than remaining in cities where the company has offices. Yeah, go back. If you're not going to be at the company, go back. If you're not going to be at the company, then you don't need to be there. Simple as that. That's how it's always been. You in order to work, you go to work. I get it. You're a tech platform, but work at work. That's how it works. At some of Mr. Musk's other companies include, this is one of the stupidest lines in this article though. Well, paragraphs. I kid you not, one of the stupidest articles. At some of Mr. Musk's other companies, including Tesla and SpaceX, he has also said employees must go into the office to work 40 hours a week. Yeah. Several places do that. This is not some new and harebrained idea like, we have to go into the office to work? Yes! A lot of people do that. I have to do that. I have to go to my job every day and work 40 hours a week. Or around there. Depends on what's going on.